Hello, welcome to the lean improvement of the day in P6. Today we're going to be talking about how to add relationships. Here in my P6 for building this shed, we're going to go over the three best ways to add relationships. So I have my list of activities that we need to do. I've given them some duration, and we're going to go through and sequence them properly. The first thing we're going to do is do gravel, then we're going to form and pour, then we're going to frame and then sheathe, then siding and roofing. We're going to have a guy come in for 4 days. He said he could do it. And after that, we're going to run the electrical, install the door and lock, and then the shed's complete. Pretty basic shed. So the best way to do it overall is to use the right-click link activities method. Now that way, you do a few different things, and it depends how you do it. So if you hold Control on your keyboard and start clicking, you'll see that I'm able to highlight multiple things at a time. When you do this, it's going to remember the order in which you click. For instance, if I already have highlighted gravel base course and I hold Control, then I do form and pour, then frame, then sheathe, then siding, electrical, install the door and lock, and then the shed is complete. I can then right-click on my mouse and come down to Link Activities. When I click that, the relationships are made. So if I actually click on one of these and look down at my Relationships tab down here, you can see that I have electrical as a predecessor to install the door and lock, and shed complete, because this is the last activity, as a successor to my install door and lock. So that is great. All I have to do now is calculate it. F9, or clicking this button up here, this schedule button, will be able to calculate it, and we'll be able to see how long it's going to take. It looks like it's going to take a little bit over 3 weeks because we're starting on the Friday before. So this is our schedule, and everything's critical path because we just have one line of logic. So that is one way to create relationships. I'm going to go ahead and undo all of what I just did. Oops. I don't need to finish electrical anymore. And I'm going to put everything back on the data date because I just removed all the relationships really quick. Sorry. Another way to add the relationship is over here in the Gantt chart. Now, I do not use this ever, because I have on occasion accidentally gone and going to link this here or somewhere else and accidentally let go, and it creates a link. And on this size of a schedule, it is not that hard to figure out which one the accidental link went to. But on a large schedule, that can be problematic. So I never use this, but you can come over here to the Gantt chart and hover over your bars, and when your mouse turns into this arrow right here, like that, you can create a relationship. So gravel base course is the first activity. Then we're going to form and pour slab on grade. Then after form and pour slab on grade, we're going to frame. After frame is done, we're going to sheathe. So you'll notice that I'm going from the end of framing to the beginning of sheathing, meaning when you finish framing, you will start sheathing, right? When you're done with sheathing, we're going to start, just like it says here in the yellow, finish sheathing before starting siding. So that's that finish to start relationship from sheathing to siding. Siding will then kick off electrical. Electrical will then kick off the door and lock, and then that will complete us out. Now, after doing that, I can F9 enter, and you can see that we come out to the same exact dates, the same exact everything. Logic is all the same. It only took longer because you have to click a lot more times, so that's not the fastest way to do that. It might be the easiest way on a one-off, or if you're creating different type of relationship types, like a start-to-start relationship. It is the fastest way to do a start-to-start or a finish-to-finish. For instance, if you want to do a finish-to-finish, you can do siding and roofing with framing, finish to finish. Finish siding before finish framing. So if we do that and we F9, you can see that framing comes out there, and it is a finish to finish relationship. If I turn off my lines, you can see finish to finish. So that is the fastest way to create different relationship types. So now I'm going to show you another way, which this can be fastest depending on what you're doing. And this way I use 20 to 30% of the time. The other percent of the time I'm using the right-click link activities because usually that's fastest, depending on what you're doing. It's down here in the Relationships tab. If you're not a good person, you can use the Predecessors or Successors window. Screens are now big enough that you can format a ton of information here, and you can just see both sides of logic, and then you don't have to click back and forth and be inefficient. So when you click the Assign button down here on the Predecessor side, so let's do that. For the Foreman Pour Slam on Grade, you can say Assign, and it pulls open the schedule right here. And you can see that I'm looking at all my activities, and the predecessor to Foreman Pour Slam on Grade is Gravel Base Course. There you go, plus. Yeah, that, you can F9, boom, there you go. Gravel Base Course kicks that off. And you can do the successor here, so Foreman Pour Slam on Grade, we're then gonna frame. Boom. And you see that adds down here when we've selected the Foreman Pour. Then I can F9, and now we're starting to see that logic start to build, and all the stuff that is not linked because I have my relationship lines right here on. You can see those lines here. And that is the other way. There are some tricks that you can use with linking using this method or the right-click link method. This was just a basics on how to add relationships, and those are the three best, fastest, simplest, easiest ways to add relationships in P6. I hope that this was a helpful video and that you were able to remember the things that you've been taught, because P6 is horrible and you have to be in there every day or else you're going to forget stuff. See you guys in the next video.